Vegan oxtails are the kind of dish that you might not make every week. It's a special dish, and I'm going to show you how to make it. Let's start first with shredding king oyster mushrooms, sometimes called trumpet mushrooms. These are pretty large. I'm making a huge batch here, some that I can freeze and some that I can use. So this is kind of what they look like shredded up, okay? And you're going to shred all of these with a fork, and this is what you get. You might have to pull it apart a little bit with your hands as well, but this is what it looks shredded up. Take the tops and shred those as well, or chop them finely. Okay, the next thing we're going to use is jackfruit. And if you can find it in water, that's great. But most of the time, you're going to find jackfruit at the Asian market in brine. And go ahead and take that out, drain it, and chop it up very well. We're going to put that inside of our vegan oxtails. We're going to take some tri-colored peppers, wash them very well, use some vegetable wash like I'm doing here, and then just go ahead and chop them up. And then what I'm going to do is blend these very finely. It just cuts down on the time. And the smaller the vegetable, the more flavor that you get inside of the oxtail. So chopping all of these up, I'm going to blend them. Also going to add some onions and some shallots. Wiping off my board here. I'm going to add some onions and some shallots and also some garlic. All of this is going to go into your blender or your mini chopper, whatever you have, minced down finely. You could do it by hand too, no worries. But we're going to mince it all down finely, and that is going to be added flavor, all those aromatics going into your oxtails. Now we're going to saute all of that flavor that we just minced down, right? So we have our onions, our garlic, our shallots, our peppers, right? And we're going to put that all inside of some olive oil or grapeseed oil. And while that's sauteing, we're going to work on our beans. Now, if you had some leftover beans that were really good, you could use that. But if not, get some canned beans, or you could make them yourself in water and salt them. Some shallots, some garlic, and you really want to make an intense flavor here. Some little steak sauce here. If you have a vegan Worcestershire, that's fine. You can use some onion soup mix. That's all vegan. And you can also use some mushroom seasoning, right? And also, this McKay's vegan beef seasoning is good well. You want this bean mixture to really, really be intense flavor. This is some bay leaves I'm putting here. This exact recipe is in my recipe guide, which I'll show later in the video if you're interested in getting the exact recipe. And like I said, you could take some leftover beans that were really, really good, freeze them, and use them in this recipe, and just put some more veggies in there and flavor. So here we go. Our aromatics are nice and flavored down there. We're going to use vital wheat gluten. It looks like flour, but actually it's the protein part of flour. Flour has 3 parts, and the gluten is the protein part. So the vital wheat gluten, going to go ahead and put our king oyster mushrooms in there. We're also going to add in the jackfruit, and we're going to add in those aromatics that we sauteed, right? All of that inside of there, but we're also going to add in the beans, right? So we're going to add in our bean mixture that we have well seasoned, and then we're going to take all of this and we're going to knead it, right? So it's up to you. You can knead it for about 5 minutes if you want. If you want your oxtails to be very dense, if you want them soft and supple like I like mine, you just need to knead it until everything is well mixed. You don't see any more white powder. Everything looks thorough. Just keep mixing until everything looks thorough. And since I'm doing a big batch here, you see that I have 3 bowls of the mixture, and I'm just going to just keep kneading it until I don't see any white mixture. And then I'll take all of these, some of them I'll cook and some of them I'll freeze, and they'll hold in the freezer for several months, because this is a dish that is intensive, and it takes a couple days. It takes 2 days to make it just to get the oxtails ready. So freezing it is very good. Making it in large batches and freezing it is a very good thing. So as you can see, you see there's no more white flour inside of this mixture, and that's what you're really looking for, right? It's packed with goodness and flavor. It may look weird, but really all of that is just flavor, flavor, flavor. It's really going to make the oxtails taste amazing. You see that? Now we're going to just take some very hot water that you can just get out of the sink and put it into a dish, a shallow dish, and we're going to put our rice paper inside of that. And rice paper, you can find this in the Asian market. It's usually used to wrap things like spring rolls, but we're going to use it to wrap our oxtails. You can use square ones or circle ones. It really doesn't matter. I use both. I have all different kinds of rice paper. Now, you just go ahead and make your mixture sort of like a sausage, and then just roll it up like it's a cigar, right? And you're going to do this several times. Now, if you just use one little roll like this, you'll end up with very small oxtails. And since I don't want small oxtails, I'm going to put this into threes. I'm going to stack this together and make a bigger oxtail, and then we'll cut that. So here's an example of a bigger one. So you see I have one here. It's 3 wrapped together, and I'm going to show you that process in just a minute. And don't worry, like you don't want your rice paper to get too soft. Just dip it in the warm water and pull it on out, because it will soften on its own. It might look like paper when you begin, but within just a couple minutes, it's going to soften all the way up. So don't worry about it getting too soft, because if you do, it's going to be hard to handle. Go ahead and handle it like it's paper, and just let it go ahead and melt down, because it will. Okay, so now I have my 3 stacked together, and that's going to make a big size oxtail. Then we're going to use another rice paper sheet, wrap it up again, and then you have a large oxtail. And again, it's going to go ahead and it's going to melt. It might feel like paper while you're working with it, but just give it a couple seconds. It will melt down and get really soft. Now, once you have them all assembled, I like to go ahead and wrap them up. And these need to be wrapped and put into the refrigerator for about 24 hours. Overnight is fine, but they might still be a little soft. Just you want to make them stiff enough so that you can cut them, okay? So roll them, put a bunch in a Ziploc bag, and you could either put those straight into the freezer, use them later. This is the recipe guide where you'll find everything. And after 24 hours, here I am unwrapping them. These are the ones that are refrigerated. If you have some that are frozen, you can, unwrap those within months. It takes months to get through those. But you have to set them out in the refrigerator, thaw them out before you cut them if you've chosen to freeze them. So you just go ahead and cut them into little oxtails. Now, after you've cut them, go ahead and boil a griddle pan or a skillet, which is fine, and just start putting them on there to sear them. So you're only going to sear them on each side. It takes about a minute or 2 on each side to get that color. You want to seal in the oxtail so that when you're cooking it in the braised sauce, which you're going to do for an hour, it's not coming apart on you, okay? So you seal that in, and there you go. So there's all of mine that I have sealed. I put it on an oil cookie sheet while I wait to cook them. There you go. Look at that. So that looks a lot like an oxtail. So next we're going to move on into the braising sauce. Now I decided to do parsnips, sweet potatoes, and cabbage into this braising sauce. I've tried different ways. You can put anything you want in there. It's all about, you can put potatoes in there, you can put carrots, you can put parsnips. It's completely up to you what you want to put. Just some veggies that taste good. Some people put the butter beans in there, right? So I'm adding in my veggies into my braising pan, and you see it's pretty low. It's not a deep pan, it's a low pan. They're all kind of low because you don't want to have too much liquid, and you want your oxtails to kind of stick out. So I'm adding in wine, mushroom seasoning, and veggie broth. And then I'm going to fill the rest of this 32-ounce pitcher up with water. Pour that into my low pan, braising pan, right? And I'm going to add some garlic powder, some onion powder, and some thyme to season that up a little bit more. I'm also going to add some smashed garlic and a little pepper as well. So that is going to be your braising sauce. And so you just start putting in your oxtails, not all the way in so that they're covered, kind of let them float on the top. And we're going to cover this and cook this on 300 for an hour to an hour and 15 minutes. And this is what you get. You get beautiful oxtails. Yum, 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 yum. You got to try these.